morning, colleagues. Today I'm going to be demonstrating our GBS disability assessment form tool. So to start, as usual, we go to our GBS tool hub. We go and access those AI and tools, that AI and tools portal. We go and look for the desired tool. Today we'll be looking at the workplace disability assessment. We go and select that. And you will see that we have it open on our screen. So it starts by giving us the definition of disability according to the Code of Good Practice, and you will then start this assessment. What you then do is you ask the employee if they have a physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairment. Okay, if you're not sure what this means, you can click on more information and it goes and gives you in detail what each of those would constitute. So for purposes of demonstration, I am going to say, yes, I do. Next, then you would ask the employee what type of impairment would they categorize their impairment as. So again, if you're not quite sure what would fall under which category, there's some more information and some examples for you. But for purposes of this, I'm going to choose a physical impairment. The next question is that it asks if the impairment is long-term or reoccurring. Once again, if you want more information on what that means, you can click on the More Information tab. For the purposes of this, I'm going to say it is long-term. Now it asks if the impairment substantially limits your prospects of entry into or advancement in employment. Again, if you're not sure what would constitute that, there's a little definition and some guidance there, but I'm going to say yes, it does. Now it asks if it will impair our ability to do our job, and how. So you can see here it's giving some examples. For me, I'm going to say it affects my ability to perform certain tasks as well as my ability to communicate effectively. Now it asks if we require any reasonable accommodation. Again, if you're not sure what constitutes reasonable accommodation, you can ask for more information there. I'm going to say, yes, I would require reasonable accommodation. And then what type of reasonable accommodation? So for me, for example, I'm going to say that I definitely need some specialized equipment or technology, as well as perhaps a modified workstation. Now it asks if I've got any medical documentation to prove the assessment of my condition by a professional. If I again want to see what that constitutes, I can go and have a look over there. Obviously, if the individual does not, you can tick no. If they do have, what you can do is just provide a brief letter. So I'm going to say that I am partially deaf, and I have a audiologist letter. What you could then go and do is choose the file containing the audiologist's letter. Obviously, I don't have this on hand, so I'm just going to choose a random file to show how this works. And then we can go and say next. The next question is that we need to make sure that these are not we're not claiming it to be a disability when it is actually not under public policy. So I'm going to say, no, I definitely do not have any of the above that I'm claiming as a disability. And then any additional information that I would like to provide. So I can already maybe say reasonable accommodation for me would be a hearing aid, perhaps, and a quieter workstation. There we go. Now I submit my assessment. You can see that it's used all of my answers as well as my attached doctor certificate that I do indeed meet disability criteria. And it goes and gives me a summary of everything I answered as well as the accommodation needs I requested. Now, colleagues, once again, we have an option. We could either go and export these results to PDF. As you can see here, it goes and generates a nice, neatly put together PDF report with that medical documentation attached to it. This is obviously great for recording in your files when you are reporting on your disability numbers for employment equity, etc. You can also have the option to print the result while sitting there. It automatically opens it into your printer of choice. Obviously, then it's quite efficient. You can, while the employee that you were assessing is sitting across from you, go straight to printing. Or if you want to keep a log of it on an Excel spreadsheet, you have the option to also then go and download it as an Excel spreadsheet. So, colleagues, that's our disability assessment tool. We hope it adds great value to you and your organization.